Hello, my name is Dylan Scott. I work full-time for the Hebron Fire Department in Boone County, and I also work part-time for a rural fire department in Kenton County, that's Piner Fitchburg. Today I'm doing a video submission on a court that overturns Minnesota home fire sprinkler requirement. I picked this one just because I had some general interest into it. Sprinklers and fire protection systems kind of are an interest of mine. I kind of like to read up more about them. So I'll give you a quick overview of what happened in Minnesota. In 2015, Minnesota Court of Appeals decided to overturn the the Department of Labor and an industry rule that required any home built after 2015 to require a residential sprinkler system. Any home that's over 4,500 square foot. So they ended up overturning it. They determined that there wasn't enough evidence to determine that it was a true need. Fire chiefs and some other people lobbied against against Minnesota legislature to require it, saying that it could, save a lot of lives, and I can agree with that. I think it's kind of interesting because if you look at the International Residential Building Code, it does require it. It's International Code 2009 requires all 1 and 2 family dwellings to require a residential sprinkler system. But there's so many states that doesn't even require it. I couldn't get a full count on how many states do require sprinkler systems, but I know Kentucky is not one of them. So I just find it kind of interesting that the IRC requires it, but states decide not to. In Kentucky, the Kentucky Department of Housing and Building Department, and then Kentucky legislation didn't adopt it. I think it's a little wild that states wouldn't want that to happen. The amount of lives that could be saved with the residential sprinkler system is astronomical. If you work in the fire service, you know sprinklers and sprinkler systems put out fires. It definitely helps. I know of only one residential sprinkler system, and it's possibly the only one in the state from what we know. It's actually in Hebron in our district, and of course it is my lieutenant who is obsessed with sprinkler systems. So there is one in Hebron, and as far as the state knows, it's the only residential sprinkler system in the state. I think that more states should adopt and follow the IRC's recommendations of having a residential sprinkler system. We know, like I said multiple times already, that it can save lives. It's fairly cheap, actually. The cost from NFPA did a study and seeing what the cost would be, and it can be as low as 38 cents per square foot, linear square foot, of course, and that's pretty cheap. I mean, that's something that's definitely manageable by most homeowners. Well, it should be by all homeowners. The cost of life is a lot more than 38 cents, of course. I asked my lieutenant how much it cost for him to get a residential sprinkler system to put in his home. His home is about 2,500 square foot, and it cost him a little bit over $3,000. So for $3,000, he has, a quick acting, first response, fire suppression in his home. And I did find it a little weird that Kentucky doesn't require any type of testing or scheduled maintenance or scheduled service for these for residential sprinkler systems. He is licensed to do his own, so he does do his own annual testing on his residential sprinkler system. So at least we know that one is always going to be good. The only thing that is required by the state of Kentucky is get the backflow checked, just because that's a sanitation issue. So I find it interesting that the Department of Labor in Minnesota, the Minnesota Court of Appeals overturned it, even though originally went in. So I really hope that the fire chiefs and lobbyists and fire departments and districts in Minnesota continue to fight that battle. I would love to see sprinkler systems throughout the United States and all the homes that are built. So let me know what you guys think. If you agree with me that residential sprinkler systems should be something more often put into the homes. Love to hear from y'all. Thank you. Bye.